and welcome to Tea and Chat. I'm Sharis Alldredge, and this is my sister wife, Vanessa.
Hi.
So what tea have you made for us today?
Okay, so today we have just a huckleberry black tea. It's very delicious. Yeah.
Huckleberry's like my favorite.
This is from the English tea store. So it's just very lovely. What do you think?
I love huckleberry. I was born in Montana, so I kind of have to. It's amazing. You should try this. Okay, so for today's video, we decided it was time to do another Q&A. We've received lots of great questions from people and decided to address some of them in today's Tea and Chat. So here we go. All right, so this question, does Jeff ever cook? Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. Honestly, not very much, but it's not for lack of willingness. But Sharis and I cook a lot because we are home and he's generally out working. And so one, it's just a responsibility we've taken on. And two, we enjoy it, whereas Jeff will do it out of necessity to survive, but not necessarily because he enjoys the process. So he's really good at eggs and toast.
Toast is, cold cereal. He's excellent at cold cereal.
Like if we're in a pinch, like Sharis is gone and I am gone or whatever, or we just need help. Maybe one of us or both of us is sick, or just some days we have those days where we're just stressed out.
Yeah,
we just need a break. He'll be like, what can I do? Can I make dinner? I'm like, no, you don't have to make dinner. I'll do it. I'll go to the store and buy stuff. I'm like, all right, that works. He can procure food for our family.
Yeah, I don't think it happens very much anymore. I think it used to happen more when we had like little kids.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Our hands were just full, and kids got sick, and when little kids get sick, they have to be held.
Yeah.
And so, he hasn't had to do it in a while.
Yeah.
So, but he can. All right. So the next question: how much is Jeff expected to contribute to the running of the house and family?
Okay, so a lot of questions about Jeff.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into the last one, if he ever cooks.
Right.
So I think when it comes to household responsibilities, again, he can and he's willing, but the need for him to do so isn't really there that often.
Right. He's got a large skill set, and so it's generally he spends more time doing things outside or building or working with power tools, and so he does. He jumps in and helps with the dishes very often.
Yeah.
But it's not needed.
Yeah, it's not like it's on his required to-do list each day. He's out. He's got to make a living. He's taking care of things outside.
Yeah. Well, the reality is too, like you and I have set up our home in such a way that we kind of have it managed to be run, and there's plenty of things he does to contribute, but they're not like this. It's not like he gets out a dusting rag or has to sweep the kitchen floor on a nightly basis. He will when necessary, but that's something that we have given to other people as tasks.
Yeah.
And he gets to do harder, more dangerous things and more strenuous things.
Yes,
very and grateful. I'm happy to take the trade-off.
Yeah, I'm grateful I don't have to do what he has to do.
Yes.
There was a second part to that question. And do you train the male and female children differently than you were trained? Not really as far as myself goes. I was raised on a homestead or on a farm, and so I'm used to doing work inside the house and work outside the house, and all of my kids also do work inside the house and outside the house.
Right.
So for myself, no.
I would say that I grew up in the city, so all of my kids are trained differently than I was.
Yeah.
They have more responsibilities, farm responsibilities that I just never had, except feed the dog. So definitely different. But as far as like boys and girls go, we definitely start them all the same. All of them start learning household chores, or when they're little, there's things they can do outside, like help with different tasks.
Yeah, check the eggs, feed the cat.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then as they get older, I found that it's kind of naturally separated.
Yeah.
But it's not completely based on gender. Like right now, your two older boys are working a lot outside, exclusively, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of like where their responsibilities lie. They don't, no indoor expectations on their part.
Because they work really hard outside. And it's not because they weren't trained. They were. They had their time doing dishes.
Yes, they are both still very capable of jumping into any household responsibility that may be required in a pinch. Yeah. And actually, my son Dalinar, he likes to cook.
Yeah, he does.
And so he enjoys any extra time he can spend in the kitchen learning to do things. And some of his favorite YouTube channels are cooking channels. And I was chopping a carrot the other day for some stock, and he's like, "Mom, you're holding the knife wrong. Mom, you're holding the knife wrong." And I was like, "All right, sorry, I'm not a professional chef, buddy." But so yeah, we don't intentionally separate it by gender, but sometimes it just flows that way. The child's interest or what they're actually capable of.
Or good at.
Or good at.
For a while, Zara was milking. She
Yeah.
was milking all the goats for a good year or two.
Yeah, I want to say a couple of years. Zara took care of all the milking outside.
And now she doesn't. And now Daniel primarily does that. And so I think, it just depends on where their skill sets are and where their interests are. Obviously, we want to lean into that. If they have an interest in one area versus another, it's not like they're without responsibility. They're more inclined to enjoy it. So, hey, we'll let them have it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the dishes, except I don't mind them.
I like to be able to stand still and accomplish something, so dishes aren't terrible.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the winter, when you're just chilled anyway, stick your hands in nice warm
hot water.
Yeah. But, the kids have not learned how to appreciate things like that.
Yeah, they will. It'll happen. Life will teach them.
Yeah, in about 25 years, they'll get it.
They'll suddenly be like, "Oh, man, if I could just do dishes."
Yeah.
That was so simple.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a good question. Thank you. All right, this one. Does the whole family like drinking goat milk? I like cow milk way better. Well, I'd say to the first part, yeah, the whole family does like drinking goat milk.
I do.
However, I do also prefer cow milk. That's just, I've had goat milk my entire life. I'm not opposed to it. I appreciate it, but I do prefer the flavor of cow milk.
I probably would lean that way. I'm not a big milk drinker, but when I do have it, I enjoy the goat milk. I think if I had a slight preference, it would be for cow milk. But honestly, it's so much easier to take care of goats than cows.
So much easier.
And so that's why we've done it. It's much more manageable. You can do it smaller quantities. It's easier to keep a goat in a pasture than a cow.
And goat milk is naturally homogenated.
What? Try that again.
No, you
Please.
just tell me.
Homogenized.
That word, homogenized. Goat milk is naturally homogenized, and so it can be a lot easier on the digestive system.
Yes, it can.
That's where I was going with that. Anyway, so yeah, we all appreciate it. We all enjoy it.
Yeah. Actually, it's a funny story. When my son Dane was younger, I don't know, he was probably 6. And he went to stay with an aunt of mine for the afternoon. And while he was there, she was making something and got out some milk. And he was asking her about the milk. He's like, "Oh, what kind of milk is that? Is that cow milk or goat milk?" She's like, "I don't know. It's just milk from the store." And he looked at her so quizzically, and he was like, "You get your milk from the store?" That's weird. Yep. I had to break it to him, like, "Honey, we're the weird ones."
Yeah, your aunt's normal, honey.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, good times. All right, let's see, next one. Have you always been homesteaders? What was the appeal for you?
No, we have not always been homesteaders.
No.
I did not grow up a homesteader.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm and was over it. In my teenage years, I was like, never again. It was actually one of my stipulations when I was trying to find a guy to marry. I was like, and he cannot own goats. He has to be nice, has to be kind, believe in Jesus Christ, cannot own goats. Life laughed at me in the face. And
did Jeff own goats at the time?
He didn't. He got goats about a month
before. It was a
nice
switcheroo.
He got goats about a month before we got married, and I was like,
You had your chance to back out, Sharis.
I did, and I weighed everything in the balance, and I was like, I guess they aren't that bad. But yeah, homesteading, it's become more to me now in my adult years than I just didn't understand it when I was a kid.
It just seems like hard work.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it's just hard work. But now that I'm an adult, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for everything that I learned growing up on the farm. Everything that my work ethic, my problem solving skills, my stick to activity, just all of it. Homesteading it's pretty cool. And I think Jeff has always been inclined towards it.
He has. I mean, he grew up pretty rural. And he's always raised animals. And then, earlier on in his life, he's lived in Montana and lived off grid. And yeah, he's always had a heart for it. And then after marrying Sharis and myself, we've fully all stepped into that and embraced it. And even me, a little city girl at heart, I really find joy in it and pleasure and rewards.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worthwhile.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, and would highly recommend it to anybody who can. There's just so many benefits from this type of rural living and providing for yourself as much as possible.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Last question that we have for today. Very similar. Does your family recommend homesteading for this lifestyle as the optimal foundation? Well,
recommend it as the optimal foundation for this lifestyle.
Yeah.
I would say it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's required, certainly.
No.
You don't have to be a homesteader to be a polygamist, and you don't have to be a polygamist to be a homesteader.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's polygamy in all sorts of cultures all throughout the world, so that's not really a thing.
Yeah, I feel like they're two separate things, and I know lots of polygamists who aren't homesteaders, and lots of homesteaders that aren't polygamists, and are able to make both work in either situation. So I would personally think that homesteading is an optimal foundation for for so many things, but it's not attached to polygamy.
That being said, though, there are certain benefits of living out in the country, raising your food and living close to nature in that way, that I think it helps any family situation, really.
Yeah.
If you're all able to be home on the farm, spending time doing different tasks, one, that gives you the time together and you learn valuable life skills together. And then there is just this idea that living in, I want to use the word self-sufficient, but I feel like that word has been really overused and abused over the years. But trying to work out getting your sustenance and providing for yourself through the grace of God and through working with your community, there's real value in that. I think Thomas Jefferson in his essay on the American Ideal, he was talking about how our country should be made up of independent yeoman farmers. So what that does is that if each family unit was somewhat stable and independent, because now you look at the world and we are so dependent upon the what do you call that word?
The food supply?
The supply chain. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're so dependent upon the supply chain, and we've all seen what happens when that goes down. During COVID, we all experienced kind of those delays that we never were used to, and I recognize that it's a fragile system. And if something goes down one place, it could affect all of us. Whereas if you have the ability to provide for your needs close to home or within your own land or in your own community, then if the supply chain goes down in Pittsburgh, it's not going to affect us. There's strength in that. And so, yes, it's a problem for that localized area, but it's not going to spread across the entire country.
Yeah.
We are so dependent as a country on that. And so if we had more and more of us who are able to stand independently and be able to have the stability and strength in that, then we as a country would be stronger and less susceptible to problems.
Yeah. That's everything I wanted to say, but she just made it sound so much better.
In about 50,000 words, I did it.
But you got there. I still would be beating around the bush trying to find the end and wrap it up.
Yeah. So, I think to sum it up, if I may.
No, go ahead. Good.
Homesteading and similar type lifestyles, I would recommend to anybody. I know that not everybody can do it, and it is difficult. It's hard work. But the benefits that we as individuals and communities at a larger scale, and even the whole country, get from as many of us living this way as possible is so worth the effort that it takes, and I do recommend it.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite books that I would recommend along this topic is Surviving Off-Grid by Michael Bunker. Absolutely love this book. And it's not so much a how-to book as a why should you live off-grid? Why put this kind of effort into your life and into your sustenance and providing for yourself when other people can do it for you and when the supply chain is in place? and really excellent read. I recommend that book.
Well, and that one goes a little bit into more like there's, you can go off grid and have your generators and all of your alternative power sources, but that one goes a little deeper into even that is dependent upon a system. But like, how can you really go back to nature and back to God and make sure that you can provide for all of your needs without depending upon the ability to get fuel for your generator.
Yeah, but rely on God, not rely on man.
Yeah, it's an excellent resource.
So
it's very interesting to read through and kind of understand the philosophy that he presents. And I thought it was very eye-opening when we read it.
Yeah, and his writing style is also really humorous, and it's just a good book.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's it. That's all the questions I had pulled off today. So, thank you for joining us, everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we will address them as we can. So thank you for being here with us today, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.